Entitled behavior and willful ignorance of basic safety warnings create the perfect storm for preventable tragedies. These 6 cases document how Karen-like attitudes, demanding special treatment, refusing to follow rules, and believing they know better than experts, transformed routine activities into fatal encounters. The evidence reveals how quickly arrogance and poor judgment can turn ordinary moments into deadly mistakes. It was August 15, 2019, at Angel's Landing Trail in Zion National Park, Utah. Perfect blue skies and blazing heat brought thousands of hikers to one of America's most dangerous trails. The narrow ridge approach had already seen at least one fatal fall earlier that year, according to park safety summaries, but the stunning views continued drawing visitors willing to risk everything for the perfect photo. Skylar Voss, 24, was a Phoenix resident who worked part-time at a juice bar and often described herself as an unrecognized creator. Friends said she frequently complained that people didn't take her content seriously, despite her small online following of 847 Instagram followers. She drove to Utah alone, posting throughout the trip about being held back by people who don't understand creativity. She carried standard hiking gear, but prioritized her iPhone, portable battery pack, and a small portable LED light for filming. Park entrance records show Voss arrived at 6:47 a.m. and received standard safety briefing materials. Ranger logs indicate she expressed frustration about the safety chains, saying they ruined her planned photoshoot aesthetic. She complained that the chains were ruining her photos and asked if there was any way to shoot without them. Rangers told her the safety barriers could not be altered under any circumstances. Multiple witnesses reported Voss stopping frequently to film content, often blocking narrow trail sections while setting up shots. She posted Instagram stories throughout the Ascent mocking safety warnings as fear-mongering designed to prevent authentic content creation. A Denver family documented her berating other hikers for walking through her filming areas, demanding they wait until she completed her takes. Voss reached the summit around 1:30 p.m., where approximately 25 other hikers were present. According to witness statements, she immediately complained loudly about other visitors ruining her shots and demanded people move away from scenic viewpoints. She took out a small portable LED light and began filming near the chains, speaking into her live stream about how influencers needed to capture shots without barriers in the frame. Witnesses estimated she spent roughly 40 minutes attempting progressively riskier poses near the edge. Several hikers said they heard her describe one sequence as a falling-style selfie, during which she leaned backward over the drop while holding her phone out in front of her. Witnesses also reported she became increasingly frustrated when others would not move aside to give her the space she wanted for her filming. According to the Denver family, they heard her tell her live stream audience that she was about to film something she believed would finally make her go viral. She positioned herself beyond all safety barriers and began her third falling selfie attempt. While leaning backward and holding her phone at arm's length, she lost footing on smooth sandstone and fell approximately 1,000 feet down the cliff face. The incident occurred at 2:43 p.m., according to multiple witness timestamps. Witnesses attempted to call 911 using their personal cell phones, eventually connecting from a spot with enough signal to reach emergency services. Zion search and rescue teams were dispatched at 2:51 p.m. The technical rescue operation required specialized high-angle rope rescue equipment. Teams rappelled down the cliff face, reaching Voss's location at 4:15 p.m. She was found deceased with massive trauma, consistent with high-altitude fall onto rock surfaces. The medical examiner's report documented massive blunt force trauma as cause of death. Death would have been instantaneous upon impact, with the first rock outcropping. Her final Instagram story remained visible for the next 24 hours, which is standard for the platform. Following the incident, Zion installed additional warning signage specifically addressing social media-related risk-taking behaviors and implemented policies requiring ranger intervention when visitors engage in dangerous photography activities. It was March 18, 2016, at Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. The early spring air was cold enough that steam from the thermal features drifted low across the boardwalks, drawing early-season tourists who wanted unobstructed views of the hot springs. At Midway Geyser Basin, the The paths around Grand Prismatic Spring were already filling with visitors stopping to photograph the morning colors. Christina Fleming, 37, had driven from Spokane the day before in a minivan covered with anti-government decals. She posted regularly in conspiracy forums and maintained a small following of about 1,000 people. In the weeks leading up to the trip, she had been filming videos claiming Yellowstone's thermal features were government-controlled heating systems meant to discourage public access to restricted land. Her social media posts suggested she intended to expose what she believed were fabricated claims about park safety. Park entrance records show she arrived at 7:16 a.m. CUM. Gate attendants reported she complained about entrance fees and insisted national parks were public property. Ranger logs note she dismissed thermal danger signage as part of a misinformation effort. She was given the standard safety sheet, which she brushed off on camera as unnecessary fear messaging. Throughout the morning, witnesses saw Fleming stop families along the boardwalk to lecture them about what she called manipulated temperature readings. She carried a compact tripod, a handheld camera, and a small LED light, frequently blocking the narrow walkway while adjusting her equipment. A family from Minnesota later said she became irritated when people walked through her filming angles, referring to them as overly conditioned and unwilling to question official statements. Around 10:10 a.m., Fleming reached the boardwalk section overlooking Grand Prismatic Spring, where roughly 40 visitors were present. Witness statements describe her starting a live stream and telling viewers she intended to demonstrate that the thermal ground was safer than officials claimed. She began touching warm runoff, trickling across the legal edges of the walkway, water that cools rapidly and can feel harmless. Witnesses said she grew more confident each time she tested it, telling nearby hikers that park messaging overstated the danger. Several visitors reported hearing her say she planned to prove her claims by stepping off the boardwalk. Rangers were not in the immediate area at that moment. According to multiple accounts, she climbed over the railing despite warnings from other tourists. The ground beyond the boardwalk at Midway Geyser Basin consists of fragile silica crust that is thin, unstable, and unable to support body weight. Fleming walked several steps toward a smaller runoff channel, still filming. Within seconds, the crust collapsed beneath her. Witnesses described a loud crack, followed by a splash as she plunged into a concealed thermal pool estimated to be near 190 degrees Fahrenheit. Several people attempted to shout instructions, but the water caused catastrophic burns almost instantly. She struggled briefly before losing the ability to pull herself out. Visitors called 911 using personal cell phones. Signal is inconsistent in the basin, but one caller eventually connected. Yellowstone's emergency team responded, but rescuers must use heat-resistant gear and maintain distance for their own safety. By the time they reached her, Fleming showed no signs of life. Her remains were recovered later that afternoon once conditions stabilized. The medical examiner identified extensive thermal burns as the cause of death, noting that water above 180 degrees Fahrenheit causes full-thickness burns in less than 1 second, making survival impossible. The incident was officially classified as a fatal thermal area accident. It was September 12, 2015, at Niagara Falls State Park, New York. Overcast skies and lingering dampness from recent storms made the observation walkways slick from constant mist near Terrapin Point. Mist from the thundering falls created a slippery maze where one wrong step could prove fatal, especially for someone not watching where they were going. Vivian Blackwood, 45, was a Westchester County real estate agent who had driven 6 hours and 47 minutes to locate her 19-year-old twins after they blocked her on all location tracking applications and social media platforms. Blackwood maintained detailed digital surveillance of her children's activities, including GPS tracking, social media monitoring, and regular contact with their college professors. She had brought a 3-ring binder containing printed safety statistics, emergency contact protocols, and documentation of her children's poor decision-making history. Park entrance records show Blackwood arrived at 1:33 p.m. and immediately approached visitor services demanding information about locating specific individuals. Visitor services logs note she spent 47 minutes arguing with supervisors about parental rights and threatening to contact corporate headquarters about uncooperative staff. Multiple witnesses reported Blackwood approaching other visitors, asking if they had seen her children, showing photographs and demanding detailed information. She carried a laminated map with highlighted areas where she believed her children might be located, along with a detailed timeline of their likely movements based on social media activity. Blackwood located her children at Terrapin Point around 2:47 p.m., where approximately 30 visitors were present viewing the falls. According to witness statements, she immediately began shouting across the observation area about their location and demanding explanations for blocked communication. The twins, Emily and Jason, attempted to leave upon seeing their mother, prompting Blackwood to pursue them while making loud statements about disrespect and parental authority. Park incident reports document Blackwood following her children onto increasingly wet and slippery sections of the observation walkway while gesturing emphatically and demanding attention. An Ohio tourist reported Blackwood stepping onto particularly slick patches of pavement while focused entirely on lecturing her children rather than watching footing. Witnesses described her waving her binder of safety statistics while pursuing her fleeing children, shouting about the dangers they were exposing themselves to by avoiding her. According to multiple witness accounts, Blackwood's pursuit became increasingly frantic as her children continued avoiding her. Wet rocks, combined with complete focus on children rather than footing, created conditions that multiple witnesses later described as extremely unsafe. The incident occurred at 3:12 p.m. when Blackwood stepped backward onto pavement sections wet from recent rainfall and coated with thin algae from the fall's constant mist. She slipped backward on the slick pavement, collided with the railing, and toppled over it, falling roughly 40 feet onto the rocks below. Blackwood was found roughly 40 feet below the observation platform, on the rocks beneath the railing. Emergency response teams arrived at 3:21 p.m. She was extracted using rope rescue techniques and transported to Niagara Falls Memorial Medical Center, arriving at 4:07 p.m. Despite immediate medical intervention, including emergency surgery for traumatic brain injury and internal bleeding, Blackwood never regained consciousness. The medical examiner documented severe blunt force trauma to head and torso as cause of death, with injuries consistent with multiple impacts against rock surfaces during uncontrolled fall. It was December 8, 2017, on Mount Washington, New Hampshire. Brutal winter conditions with howling winds had forced all commercial operations to shut down. The mountain's notorious weather claimed lives regularly, but some people believed they could outsmart nature with bargain basement gear and stubborn determination. Prudence Grimsby, 52, was a Worcester, Massachusetts accountant who maintained meticulous financial records, documenting her frugal lifestyle. Despite having the means to purchase proper winter gear, Grimsby insisted on using only second-hand items from garage sales and thrift stores. She maintained detailed spreadsheets tracking every purchase and frequently posted social media content criticizing outdoor equipment pricing as corporate manipulation. Mount Washington Rescue Coordination records show Grimsby had contacted them 17 times over the previous month, requesting free trail information and questioning recommended gear lists. Her brother Michael, an experienced mountaineer, had repeatedly offered to loan proper equipment, but Grimsby declined all offers. Grimsby's social media posts from the week prior documented her preparation process, including videos of her $3 garage sale jacket, sneakers she attempted to waterproof with duct tape and plastic bags, and a sleeping bag rated for 40 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures. She posted content mocking gear reviews and outdoor equipment companies, stating that real outdoors women didn't need expensive equipment to survive. Grimsby began her ascent at 7:45 a.m. from Pinkham Notch Visitor Center, where staff attempted to dissuade her due to extreme weather conditions. Visitor Center logs note she argued with staff for a long time about their authority to prevent her hike, claiming she had researched conditions and determined warnings were exaggerated to sell expensive gear. Trail camera footage from a 2,000-foot elevation, time-stamped 9:17 a.m., shows Grimsby ascending in inadequate clothing while carrying a small day pack. The camera captured her filming content about proving gear industry claims wrong, holding up her garage sale receipt as evidence. According to witness statements from two experienced hikers who encountered Grimsby at 10:30 a.m. near the 3,500-foot elevation, she was already showing hypothermia signs, including slurred speech and poor coordination. The pair attempted to convince her to turn back, offering space in their emergency shelter and assistance with her descent. Grimsby refused their help and made statements about being tougher than people who relied on proper equipment. The last confirmed sighting came at 11:43 a.m. from weather personnel working along the upper slopes, around the 4,200-foot level. Her improvised gear was visibly failing, with duct tape peeling from her shoes and her jacket providing inadequate wind protection. Search and rescue operations began at 6:30 p.m. when Grimsby failed to return by her stated 4 p.m. deadline. Rescue teams using specialized winter equipment began ascending at 7:15 p.m. following Grimsby's known route. Grimsby was located at 8:47 a.m. the following morning, approximately 200 yards from a known emergency shelter site. She was found seated against a boulder, still wearing the same improvised clothing and duct-taped shoes, and had been deceased for several hours based on body condition. The medical examiner determined that severe hypothermia was the primary cause of death, with no indication that she attempted to seek additional shelter before collapsing. It was June 23, 2018, on the Colorado River through Grand Canyon, Arizona. Scorching desert heat baked the canyon walls as rafters prepared for a journey through some of America's most challenging whitewater. High spring runoff had turned normally manageable rapids into churning death traps that demanded respect and proper safety protocols. Cordelia Ashworth, 41, was a Scottsdale property management supervisor who maintained detailed complaint files on over 200 service providers and had left 1,247 negative online reviews over 5 years. Ashworth had booked the 3-day rafting trip using a Groupon discount voucher and spent 4 weeks sending emails to Grand Canyon River outfitters, questioning procedures, demanding free upgrades, and threatening negative reviews. She brought laminated printouts of alternative rafting techniques she had researched online and a folder containing pre-written complaint forms for various scenarios. Outfitter records show Ashworth had contacted them 37 times via phone and email, requesting to speak with supervisors about guide qualifications and safety procedures. Lead guide Jake Morrison noted Ashworth had interrupted the mandatory safety briefing 6 times to question established procedures. Ashworth boarded the 18-foot raft at Lee's Ferry at 8:30 a.m. with 7 other passengers and 2 experienced guides. According to witness statements, she immediately began questioning Morrison's instructions and made statements about superior methods she had researched through online forums. She loosened her Type 5 life jacket straps within minutes, claiming the fit was uncomfortable and requirements were excessive for her swimming ability. Multiple passengers observed Ashworth taking detailed notes about perceived safety violations and customer service failures throughout the morning. She photographed equipment, documented guide statements, and maintained a running commentary about inadequate procedures. A retired Michigan couple reported Ashworth demanding the raft stop multiple times so she could photograph evidence of claimed safety violations. According to witness statements collected by National Park Service investigators, Ashworth became increasingly agitated, approaching the first major rapid section. She stood up in the raft repeatedly while making statements about demanding full refunds and questioning Morrison's competence and certification. When Morrison instructed all passengers to remain seated and secure life jackets for approaching Granite Rapids, Ashworth ignored instructions and continued standing while making complaints about unprofessional attitude. The incident occurred at 11:52 a.m. as the raft entered Granite Rapids' tongue. Ashworth was standing and gesturing while making statements about customer service standards when the raft hit the first major wave train. She fell overboard into 52 degrees Fahrenheit water approximately 60 yards upstream from the most dangerous rapid section. Ashworth's loosened life jacket immediately shifted position upon water entry, riding up around her neck and providing minimal torso flotation. Morrison immediately threw rescue ropes and began maneuvering toward Ashworth's position, but rapid hydraulic features made approach dangerous. Emergency protocols were activated immediately, with Morrison radioing other rafts and requesting helicopter assistance. Ashworth was swept into Hermit Rapids before rescue completion. Witnesses reported seeing her strike multiple rocks before disappearing beneath the surface, near a large hydraulic feature. Ashworth's body was located at 3:23 p.m., approximately 1.2 miles downstream, caught in a debris field. Her waterproof phone case contained detailed notes about the rafting service and a partially written online review criticizing water temperature, rapid intensity, and staff professionalism. The medical examiner documented drowning as primary cause of death, with contributing factors including blunt force trauma, hypothermia, and inadequate life jacket positioning. It was July 14, 2016, at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Peak summer crowds packed the popular beach despite red flags warning of deadly rip currents. Lifeguards worked overtime, trying to keep swimmers safe from invisible underwater rivers that could drag even strong swimmers to their deaths within minutes. Brielle Sterling, 29, was a Charlotte resident who worked intermittently as a fitness instructor and maintained active social media accounts focused on fitness content and lifestyle advice. Sterling had recently been terminated from her gym position following multiple complaints about inappropriate behavior toward other members, and had driven to Myrtle Beach with college acquaintances for what she described as a demonstration of superior physical conditioning. She carried professional camera equipment for documenting workout content and had posted multiple videos that week about physical superiority and ocean swimming abilities. Myrtle Beach lifeguard service records show Sterling had been warned 3 times that morning about entering water during red flag conditions. Beginning at 9:47 a.m., multiple tourists observed her filming content that dismissed safety warnings and criticized other visitors for remaining in shallow water. Sterling positioned herself near a group of college students around 1:45 p.m., where she began filming content about demonstrating proper swimming technique and real ocean fitness. According to witness statements, she made loud statements about her physical conditioning while gesturing toward rough surf and criticizing other beach visitors as weak and unprepared for real swimming challenges. She entered the water multiple times while continuing to film content about her superior abilities. Beach Patrol incident reports document Sterling creating increasingly elaborate content designed to demonstrate swimming prowess and physical superiority. She swam progressively further offshore while making statements about her conditioning and criticizing safety warnings as applicable only to weak individuals. Lifeguards used whistles, megaphones, and hand signals directing her to return to shore, but she continued swimming further out while gesturing dismissively. According to witness statements collected during the investigation, Sterling had been in the water for approximately 25 minutes, swimming in an area roughly 200 yards offshore where the documented rip current was strongest. A Virginia family observed her encounter obvious difficulty around 2:30 p.m., noting her swimming pattern changed from confident strokes to apparent struggling against the current. The rescue situation developed when Sterling was caught in documented rip current approximately 250 yards from shore, where current speed had been measured at 4.7 miles per hour that morning. Instead of swimming parallel to beach, as recommended in posted safety briefings, she attempted to swim directly against the current while continuing to maintain the camera equipment. Lifeguards launched rescue watercraft immediately upon observing her obvious distress. Rescue teams reached Sterling's approximate location at 2:47 p.m., but she had already submerged after what witnesses described as several minutes of increasingly frantic swimming against current. Underwater recovery efforts using sonar equipment and dive teams located her at 3:31 p.m. in approximately 14 feet of water. Sterling was extracted, and immediate resuscitation efforts were initiated on the beach, including CPR and advanced life support measures. She was then transported to a nearby medical facility, where attempts to revive her continued for an extended period before she was pronounced dead at 4:52 p.m. The medical examiner identified drowning as the primary cause of death, with contributing factors including exhaustion from fighting the rip current and poor decision-making in hazardous conditions. Thanks for watching. Want to watch more? Click on your screen now.